for tonight, what are you expecting to hear from President Trump? What would you like to hear him say as far as his first 45 days?
Well, I think no president has done more in less time, and I think that's going to be part of it. Is what we're going to hear tonight in this joint session of Congress is much more like a second or third State of the Union. A tremendous amount of accomplishment, an agenda that is moving along at a feverish pace, and a very ambitious next 3+ years. And so I expect to see him roll out his request for the kind of reconciliation that allows the real changes in government, his goal to really reduce the deficit, and at the same time, I think he's going to concentrate a lot on peace through strength. The fact that he has brought a cessation of violence since his election around the world, but that he wants to make those ceasefires permanent.
A lot of the things that people here in Washington and elsewhere are talking about are Doge and in Elon Musk and the cuts that have been happening to federal contracts and the federal workforce. In your opinion, has Doge done enough, or has Doge gone too far in terms of trimming the federal government?
Well, these are down payments. They're finding waste and exposing it. In some cases, the waste is so deep that a pause has been necessary. In many cases, they're finding things we didn't know existed as a result of their work. I was with the Secretary of Defense this morning, who will be there tonight, and he made it clear that in order to fund the strong military going forward, we're going to have to cut the waste, including some that was put there by Congress.
One of the things that's been a bit of a concern lately is a chance of a recession. There was some economists predicting between the cuts and between tariffs and a potential downturn in employment, there could be a recession in the coming months. Is that a concern for you? And if so, is there anything that you as Republicans in charge can do to prevent that?
Well, as you know, we were already going in the wrong direction with sticky inflation, no real abatement, and a slowing economy when President Trump took office. So one of the challenges is, can he get money out of drying up the capital market? Every penny that the government spends, it borrows. When it borrows, it takes away from the private sector's ability to raise capital to grow our economy. And growing our economy is the only way that we're going to get where we want to get. So I think the strong investments in the private sector are going to make a difference. It's a big part of the president's agenda, including nothing would tank our economy more than the largest tax increase in American history. And if we don't act, that's what we'll get.
You mentioned that you were with the Defense Secretary earlier today. What are your thoughts on what's happening with Zelensky and the pause on aid? Are you in a position that you think Zelensky needs to resign in order to find peace?
Nobody has come to the Oval Office demanding that somehow we owe them money in my lifetime. I think President Zelensky owes the American people a thank you for what we've done and an apology for implying that somehow he was entitled. The fact is, America stands ready to bring this to a successful close, one in which there is a Ukraine that can live in peace with its neighbor and its borders to be secure. And President Zelensky, as far as I'm concerned, needs to either sign on to that agenda or resign.
Do you think the United States needs to stay in NATO?
It's one of the interesting things. We basically own and operate NATO, but we have an agreement for cost sharing. We command NATO. We were the force that created it among very weak economies. But as those economies got stronger, all we've asked them to do is give that same percentage that we commit to. 2% of someone's GDP isn't a lot. But Germany and other countries have refused to do it even till today. So the idea that we will lead NATO, command NATO, and be the largest single funder of NATO is a given. But the idea that we'll do it on behalf of nations who get the benefit without contributing is unreasonable. And President Trump has made that since day one a simple and understandable request.
And it's one more about the Ukraine-Russia war, and it has to do with whether this idea that we're giving too much to Russia. If Russia should be rewarded for invading Ukraine by making various concessions that maybe Russia would like. Do you see any of that happening right now?
No, there's no stronger bargaining person, no better person at the deal than President Trump. And I expect the people on his behalf are going to make sure that, in fact, Russia does not get a free pass. This has been devastating to Russia. They expected to take over in a short period of time. They haven't been able to. As you know, Russia pulled out of Syria, leading to the collapse of Bashar Assad. There have been indications that Russia needs this deal, and I think the president is going to insist that Russia give a deal based on the fact that they need this deal as badly as the Ukrainians.